Hey, badass business owner, I want to tell you a little secret that a lot of people don't know when it comes to running a brick and mortar business. And I think it's important that you know this. No, it's not like my other videos where I tell you about how much money it's going to cost you, and the odds are you're not going to be able to have the profits that you think you're going to get. Although that does play into what I'm about to share with you. But I think it's important that we talk about this because a lot of people don't talk about this part. And I think it's critical that if you're thinking about doing a brick and mortar business in any way, shape, or form, you need to know about. What got me started on this is the other day I went into a business and I met the business owner. When I went in, the business owner was the only person there. And, we started talking, and I realized that the last time that I had gone into the establishment, the business owner was the only one there as well. No other employees, no one else. And I also noticed that the business was not super busy because both times I was chatting with this individual. It was funny because I started to get some flashbacks. As many of you know, I used to have an ice cream shop. Back in the day, I had it for 5 years. And, it was one where I had it right before the collapse of everything. So, I bought it and then it collapsed. So I was trying to struggle through that. We lost half our town, blah, blah, blah. But, at the end of the day, it didn't matter. It was just the business itself barely could take care of itself. And it didn't matter how well it was ran. I had other people that came in, looked at it. They couldn't find things wrong. It was just lack of business, lack of people in the town and whatnot. But what I remember the most is I lived in that building. I was there constantly. I had to be because I had to do the payroll to be that person that was there. When you have a brick and mortar business, for the most part, if you're open to the public, this is probably going to hit you more than anybody. If you're open to the public, one of the challenges is you have to keep those doors open, and you have to keep those doors open no matter what. And when you're not making payroll or you don't have enough money to go out and hire different people, guess who's working those hours? You, the business owner. And for example, with that gentleman I was talking about, guess who was working the store and why he was working the store? He was working the store because I know at the end of the day, because I'm very familiar with his business, it was because he did not have the money to cover the payroll needed to have his team members there and to have them work. And it got me thinking back to a lot of times when I've gone into other establishments. And, I used to think it was really cool when the owner was there. When you go into a business and the owner's there and, they're the ones that talk to you. They're the ones that take care of you. And you just chit chat and they're always so happy and so pleasant and everything else. And you just don't think anything about it other than, wow, it's kind of cool. This person owns their own business. Isn't this neat? Whatever that business is, it doesn't matter. But what a lot of people aren't telling you is what's going on behind that smile, behind that thought. If you've ever been into a business where it is like the business owner, and then depending on how busy it is, maybe it's busy and it's only the business owner and one other person, it falls into the same thing. Obviously, I was busy at different times and I was still there because I needed a body. That's why I was there a lot of the times. But, same thing with this gentleman and with many other business owners that I've talked to. I've talked to a lot of people that have brick and mortar businesses, and a lot of times they were living in those businesses just like I was. And ultimately, the reason they were living in those businesses is because the expenses are so high when you have those businesses. And if you think about it, it's not just the rent that is high. It is the man hours that you need to have, the labor hours that you need to keep those doors open. And if you're 7-day-a-week kind of business, you got to keep those doors open for 7 days. And if it's open from 8 in the morning to 8 at night or whatever those hours are, you got to keep that business open. And you may not always be able to cover the payroll to be able to do it. And the only way you can keep it open is because you have to do it. You can't just shut the door because you need sales. There's some businesses that are closed during certain hours because they just can't afford to have the people to run it. And it's like it costs them more money to process the day with an employee than it does for them to worry about the rent. And that sometimes will happen is because by the time they finish paying for the day, if they work it out for the rent, and maybe the rent's $300 a day, you throw the electricity, everything else that their costs are, whatever or not, and then they look at their payroll and their lack of sales and their payroll and their cost of goods and everything else. And they realize, wow, I'm not even going to make enough money to pay my people. It's better for me to shut the doors. And that's why sometimes you'll see people mess with their hours and stuff like that. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. Having a business is hard and having a business is lonely. I don't have to tell you that. You already know that as a business owner, how hard those are. But you throw on a brick and mortar where you are now tethered to that business. Yes, as a service-based business, you may not have people and you have to work 6-7 days. You may have to work those long hours. It's the same thing. A lot of businesses are, the business owner is working tons of hours just to be able to keep the lights on, if you will, whether it's a brick and mortar or if it's a regular business. And, that's one of the reasons why we feel it's lonely. When I was talking to this gentleman, it made me sad. And it made me sad because I know what's going on. He was happy and he was trying to hold it together and present this thing. But I knew behind his eyes, and I knew behind that, he'd rather be anywhere but there. As much as he may love what he does, it gets tiring. You're tired. You're working all those days and you're not having those days off and you're not having that time. And you know what? We put on a good face as a business owner, and we really put ourselves out there. And to the public, we look like, wow, I would love to be a business owner. Look how happy they are. Look at how great they control their own hours. They work they create their own jobs. They can make as much money as they want to make, blah, 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 blah. And it all looks good to the outside. But to the person standing there behind those eyes, there's something else totally going on. And the reason that I'm sharing this is because, one, if you're feeling this right now, you're not alone. You're not. Okay? I promise you there are other people feeling the exact same way. And I will tell you that it doesn't have to be that way. There are other choices. I no longer have my ice cream shop because I could not live that life. Now, I still work 6-7 days a week. I still work crazy hours, but I'm not forced to always be in a building even though other things are going on. I don't have to miss other things just because I'm tethered to that building and I have to keep those doors open no matter what because the customer's showing up. Now, if I have to work long hours, I just work later into the night to get the same things done that I need to do. But when you have a brick and mortar, that's not your choice. You can't all of a sudden do these things late at night. You can't all of a sudden do them early in the morning or whatever the case may be. So my main thing that I want to share is, one, you're not alone. Two, if you're thinking about having a brick and mortar, you need to think twice. Okay? Because I'm telling you, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, like we said. You know what? If you think that it's going to make you tons of money, I've already got other videos where I talk about the fact that, you know what? You actually will spend a lot more money on a brick and mortar business than what you do. But I'm telling you, it is very lonely, more so than normal, because you just have, if you don't have customers, yeah, you'll find things to do around whatever it is that you have. But I promise you, you're going to have a lot more time to think about, what are you doing? How did you get in this place? How did this happen? It's just it's a lot of negativity that goes into it, even though you're probably already experiencing that in your business. So I just want you to know that if you're one of these people, I feel you. I really do. Like I said, there's things that you can do, help you get better. It's even more reason to know your business numbers for you to be able to understand every dime that you're spending so that you can afford the labor. Because sometimes people can't afford the labor because of other stupid things that they're doing or missed opportunities that they have. There's so many different things that go into it. It's not just because it's not because they're a bad business owner. I want to make sure I get that out there. It's just the business model, the way it's going at the moment, is not working. And it's about, how do you fix that model? How do you fix that problem? What needs to happen? Is it fixable? Maybe it's not fixable, and then you got to make a bigger decision. But either way, it's something that you're not alone. It happens. It's a dirty little secret that a lot of people don't tell you. And I think we need to talk about it and we need to share about it. Matter of fact, if you have a story to share, feel free to put it down in the comments below. But I just want to let you know, I'm here for you. I've been there. I feel for that man. I'll probably stop by every once in a while just to talk to him and see how things are going. And I wish him nothing but success in his business. He's had it for a really long time. So I know he's been working a lot of hours over that time frame. And I wish him nothing but the best. He's a really sweet man, really nice. But I know what it's like. And I just want you to know you're not alone. Just wanted to make sure that I shared it with you because I think everybody needs to know this. And next time you go into a business where the business owner is by themselves and they're smiling, just talk to them. Just share a little bit. Just make their day. I know that was some of the best days I had is when I got to talk to other people and we talked about their business and whatnot. So just talk a little bit and I think you might help somebody out. All right. With that, I'm out of here and I will talk to you next time. Bye for now.